most Republican politicians, they're not even pretending that the rules apply to them. They seem to be willing to just make stuff up. And that's true here in Nevada, just like it is across the country. As the co-chair of Donald Trump's campaign in Nevada, Catherine's opponent helped to lead efforts to overturn the results of the last election. But don't vote. What are we going to do? We're going to vote. But he filed bogus lawsuits, pushed phony claims of voter fraud. So I think it's fair to say that if he loses this race, he's going to do it again. He has no actual evidence of election fraud because there's actually no widespread election fraud. But he's not going to let that stop him. He's going to look under every rock in the desert to try to find an excuse. Although if he wins, I'm guessing he'll be less concerned. All those votes will be legit. Funny how that works. Listen, I lost my first congressional race by 30 points. I got whooped. You know what I did not do? I didn't say this was rigged. I didn't claim fraud. I certainly didn't instigate a riot on the Capitol. Instead, I asked myself, how can I be better? How can I connect with voters better? Because that's how it's supposed to work. That's stuff we teach our kids, right? You know, you're in the sandbox, things don't go your way. You don't throw a tantrum. Throw something at the other kid. If you see your kid do that, you pull them aside, kind of hard too, you know. It's like, listen, don't do that. We teach our kids to be fair, to be honest. Well, we should expect the same from our politicians. Because, listen, I understand that democracy might not seem like a top priority right now, especially when it doesn't always feel like the results work for you. You don't see enough progress on issues that matter to you and your family. Sometimes progress is slow. But we have seen throughout history, and we see right now around the world, what happens when you give up on democracy. You can see it in countries where the government tells you what books you can and cannot read. Countries where if you dissent, you get put into jail. Countries where reporters are silenced. Countries where it doesn't matter who you vote for because the same folks are going to win every time. And they'll do whatever they want. And where corruption is rampant because there's no accountability. When true democracy goes away, people get hurt. And it's hard to recover. It has real life consequences. And that's why generations of Americans fought and died for the idea of self-government. That's what this flag is supposed to stand for. That's why we believe and set up rules and democratic norms that work. Rules we teach our kids when they're little about being honest and being fair, about how groups are supposed to make decisions, and everybody gets a say, and everybody gets a turn, and if you don't get your way, you don't take your ball and go home or have a tantrum. You get over it and try to do better the next time. Democracy is at stake in this election, Nevada. And that's why it's not enough to elect Democrats like Steve Sisolak and Catherine Cortez Masto. We also have to elect good people up and down the ballot. Like Cisco Aguilar, who's running to be your Secretary of State. You know, Nevada makes it easier to vote in most than many other states. You got early voting, you got universal mail-in voting, same-day voter registration. They don't just help Democrats, they make it easier for everybody to cast their ballot, no matter who you're voting for. Cisco's opponent wants to make it harder to vote. He's trying to one-up all the Republicans peddling lies.